Welcome to this episode of Yankee Chatter. I believe it's episode number 31. Brad, can you believe we've done 31 of these?
Not really.
No, me either. Over the course of 2 years. Tino, thank you for coming along for the ride. As a part of the Bigger and Broader Sports Network, right? You guys are a network now.
It's a network now, yeah.
So, subscribe, Yankee Chatter, and Bigger and Broader Sports. We're going to organize it so that you can find all of our content on the Bigger and Broader Sports YouTube channel. We'll still have ours as well. So if you want to subscribe to both, that'd be fantastic. Tell your friends, share. We're on all the social medias, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. That's the big one. Even though I've been kind of radio silent of late, not much going on. But we're all there. We're all on there. I'm Greg Andriano. You can find me at GregAndriano05 on Twitter. And these are my buddies up north. You guys want to introduce yourselves?
Big Tuna. What the hell is my handle? At Big Tuna BBS. I think it's actually at Big Tuna BBS, and we're on at Bigger and Broader Sports, one word, on Instagram. And it's funny you mention that. I don't even know what the good social media is anymore. Mm-hmm. I don't know which one it is.
You know, which one? What
their comfort level, right?
Like, which one's the best to do?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I don't know.
I have no idea.
Because Bigger and Broader Sports, you share images of the player and then you save the transaction below it, which is, I guess, is really helpful for using Instagram, because you can't just post your thoughts on Instagram. You have to post a picture or a video. So that's really helpful for that. Facebook, I don't feel like Facebook people use anymore. It's there. It's a nice resource. I know the younger generation likes to use their Twitter and Instagram and Snapchat. You kids using your Snapchat.
So what you're saying is Facebook's a dying breed, huh?
It might be. I mean, I don't know.
Seems like the older generation, like my father, starts using Facebook, and I'm like, okay. Like,
Right. Once all the crazy aunts and uncles got on there, everyone, our age is like, all right, I'm out of here.
Sorry, crazy aunts and uncles. You have to find out you're crazy.
Every family's got one.
Yep.
If you think about it, everyone you talk to has one crazy aunt that's on Facebook that comments on every photo and every status you put up.
That's my Aunt Cheryl. I can already say who it is. It's my Aunt Cheryl.
Yeah. I got a couple of them.
No, my wife, she works for Disney, and she works with people that are still in college or on their way just out of college, and they hardly ever use Facebook. So they're on it. Yeah. So, anyways, I didn't mean to cut you off, Brad, before you got a chance to introduce yourself. So, you want to take this opportunity?
I'm here too.
Yeah.
This is I'm at Broader Chatter 1, not the up part, just at Broader Chatter 1.
I'll put it as a caption below you so people don't get confused when I edit.
That'd be helpful. Yeah.
No, just because he's on the bottom, folks, doesn't mean he's less important.
No, I know, at least you don't get the there is a lot of fat jokes for when I upload videos. It's not very nice.
Haters. Gotta be greater than the haters.
Yeah, man.
Everybody's safe and secure behind that keyboard, right?
Right?
Jerks. Anyways, we have a show to do, right?
You have something to talk about, sure.
Actually, I do. So it came out, I think, last weekend that there has been a conversation that Major League Baseball could come back in May. As early as May, they're going to do a couple weeks of spring training and then jump right into the season. And how they will do the season, which I think is interesting, and it creates a whole new dilemma, and kind of would make the season very unique, is that they are going to realign the whole Major League Baseball division system based on the location of your spring training facility. So, and I have a graphic here that I'm borrowing, not stealing, but borrowing from our friends over at Talkin' Baseball, because they put it together for us. So hopefully if you guys can see this, this is kind of what they heard that the realignment for divisions would be. And you can see it's split up by Grapefruit League and Cactus League, which are the two spring training leagues. Grapefruit being here in Florida and Cactus being over in Arizona. And then you got the North, South, and East divisions, and Northeast, West, and Northwest divisions. Those names probably aren't final, but they're grouping them based on their locale in Florida and Arizona. And right off the bat, you can see where the Yankees are located. And that division, I don't know how many games they play in this season, this makeshift season, but you can see that if they end up playing more games against the Phillies, Blue Jays, Tigers, and Pirates, they'll be sitting pretty at the top of that division. Whereas teams like the Marlins are pretty screwed, and the Orioles, when you have division rivals such as the defending World Series champs, Nationals, the Astros, the Mets, and the Cardinals. I mean, that's a pretty tough division.
The Astros, I like that.
I mean, let's be honest. The Marlins are pretty screwed every year because, I mean, you can put them in any division. That's not going to help them.
Yep. But
I just feel bad for a team like the Mets. Mets get kind of screwed in that division.
Yeah. I mean, the NL East is no picnic to begin with. I think I felt that coming into this season in particular, that was going to be one of the more difficult and tough divisions, aside from the Marlins, because you got the defending champs. The Braves are always really good. The Phillies loaded up and have a new manager. And the Mets are supposedly better. I mean, that's a tough division. So they're not really in a good position. But, you get a team well, the Yankees weren't going to have a tough job winning the AL East this year anyways. I mean, their competition would have been the Rays, which I'm actually thankful they're not in the same division.
Well, I mean, the Red Sox don't have pitching, but they still have some really good position players.
Yeah, they have a good offense.
So I wouldn't count them out. I mean, that South division right there is really strong.
That's a tough division. I mean, if I had to pick a winner from that division, I really couldn't. It might come down to the Braves and the Twins, but the Rays always have good pitching. Always.
People are saying the Rays are better this year than last year.
Yeah, and pitching always seems to help them. So, I mean, that's the toughest division, I think.
By far, yeah.
And then that Eastern division comes in right behind them. And actually, the Western Cactus League is pretty tough, too. If you think about it, the Dodgers, the Reds, and the White Sox loaded up this year. Indians are always pretty good, and the Angels have an okay squad. I mean, that'd be a tough division.
I think the Dodgers are going to run away with that one.
Probably, but if you think about maybe wild card, that wild card probably, if they do a playoff structure similar to the regular playoff structure, with teams like the White Sox, Reds, Indians, and Angels, that's a four-way battle for a wild card spot.
That bottom division is awful.
Yeah, Brewers are going to take that hands down.
And the Brewers aren't even that – they didn't really do anything in the offseason. They didn't re-sign Yelich.
Their only competition, I think, might be the Padres, because the Padres have gotten slightly better. They don't really have the pitching. They're a very young team. But, I mean, if the Brewers didn't get better, and the Brewers, they lost in the wild card last year. Is that what it was?
Yeah. And actually, they should have won. They had that. The ball went to the right field of his legs there.
That's right. Yeah,
that's the only reason why the Nationals won. And
yep. So that may be the weakest division, but that may actually come down to the Brewers and the Padres, just because Padres.
I gotta say, the majority of the Cactus League is not very great. Even that division with the Cubs, Giants, Diamondbacks, Rockies, and A's, that's not a great division. That's probably between the A's and Cubs.
Yep. Diamondbacks are okay, but I think the A's and the Cubs are easily the strongest teams in that division. But we don't know.
I think by far the Grapefruit League is much.
Oh yeah, much more competitive. And the thing is, we don't know how long the season, how many games the season is. The problem with a shortened season, and if it's like a 50-game season or an 80-game season, especially in baseball, is some of these playoff teams that you would think on paper would make the playoffs, if they get off to a slow start, they get off to a 40-game start where they go 20-20, and one of these teams that you weren't anticipating having a strong season gets off to a hot start, like a team like the Mets always seems to get off to a hot start. If they get off to a team like that gets off to a hot start, then they could slip into the playoffs even if they were projected not to. So
if they go with this, Greg, if they go with these alignments, are they just saying we're not going back to Major League stadiums this season?
I believe so. Okay. From what I've read is they'll probably do something like this. You'll probably see them playing in their spring ballparks for the entire season. And probably either they'll start out with or for the whole season play where no fans can come. You know, they're already doing that in South Korea. I think it's South Korea. They started up.
It was South Korea, and they had to shut it back down because another case popped up. But I believe Taiwan is playing right now.
Yeah. So
because it was on ESPN. Taiwan had this season's first walk-off home run last week.
I saw one of them. They put like dummies in the crowd, and they were piping in fake fan noises.
What's the point? What's the point of that?
I don't know.
What locations have they figured out, like where they're going to play? Are they all going to just play where they do spring training?
That's what I've read, and which is fine because everybody's got their own facility already set up. You know, the Yankees have their own complex. They have their own. Everybody has their place they stay during spring training, and they have a facility, a weight training facility, and stuff like that, where they can, do what they need to do during the season.
I bet you those owners are just shaking in their boots about how much money they're going to lose this year.
Oh, they're going to lose. They've already. I mean, think of it this way: we'd be a half a month into the season right now.
Yeah, in a way, you don't ever want to feel bad for guys that make that much money, and you know what I'm saying. But it's kind of like, man, oh man, it's unfortunate that they're getting cleaned out right now. Because I would have thought that the owners would be fighting against this, especially if there's no fans. So all you're doing is just paying out money to people. You know what I'm saying? It's just.
Well, I mean, what most of these teams will probably end up having happen is a lot of them have their own television networks. Like the Yankees have their own television networks. Boston has their own television network. They'll be making a lot of money off of ratings and people watching. And hopefully it gets to a point where this curve flattens out enough where they can start letting fans come and watch and making some money back that way. I can't see any other way they'd be making money because they're not making money off of food and beverage from the game. They're not making money off of souvenir sales or ticket sales. So what do you do? But I mean, a lot of these teams already have a ton of money as it is, so they can at least afford to pay their players. But
I just for me, I'm one of those guys that's like, I just think this is a cold. I understand that it's an epidemic and all that stuff, but at the end of the year, I really do want to see flu versus coronavirus. But to me, like if it's an outdoor game, like I'm really not. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's like you could just every other seat or every 2 seats, you can at least put someone in there.
Yeah, the problem is concession stands and bathrooms.
Yeah, I mean, it's so tough now. I mean, it's
like, think about the most crowded part of the whole game is getting in and getting out, especially leaving after the game, going down the escalators and stairways.
Yeah. Plus, if you're sitting in the middle of a row with your family and you have to get up, you're gonna have to get people to move because you brush against people, and there are some jerks out there who if you sell beer or alcohol at these games, you get some rowdy fans, and they're going to extend the boundaries where they probably shouldn't. And there are some people that, will ruin it for everybody else. And that's
the thing.
What they're trying to avoid.
That's what it is that's just like with what we're dealing with now. Like, and I'm an asshole about it too. I admit it. But like the mask thing, I won't do it because it's like, I just won't do it.
Well, my wife has been making masks.
That's what and I ordered one, but it's like, I'm sorry, I just don't, because it's not going to affect me, but I get it, but it's kind of like,
But
hey, it's a way to reopen everything. I'm for it. I guess, if everyone has to wear a mask anyway, I guess they could reopen.
You've got to wear one too.
Stadiums.
You've got to wear one too, Bratter, at work.
Yeah, when we deal with people, we have to. Yeah. And they have to wear them to come in. So.
Mm-hmm. And it's not for it's for you from keeping to spread.
Yeah.
It's not for you getting.
I barely
Obviously,
go out.
If someone's not wearing a mask and they cough on you, you're going to get it. But you're trying to limit the spread of it.
I mean, it sucks. I really hate doing it. But for the 5 minutes you're in the store, just put the mask on.
And I understand that. It's just like I said. It's just it's to me. It's like when we were talking, like when it first started, Bratter. It's like I'd like to see the common cold, But the one thing I was gonna say too about like with the Grapefruit League and all that stuff is how did they figure those divisions out? Did they just like put them in a hat, or did they go by location?
It's based on their It's based on their location. So like a lot, if you look at them. When this first came out, I sent that image to you, Brad, and my cousin and our friend Ryan. And Ryan's like, where did they come up with these things? And so you actually look up on the map where they are, and you can see like the Yankees, Phillies, Pirates, Blue Jays. They're all located right near each other in Tampa. And then like there are some teams in South Florida, like the Red Sox, the Twins. They're kind of like right near each other. So it is broken out by where they are located in the state of Florida and in the state of Arizona.
So that's what they're doing. They're just doing Florida and Arizona.
Yeah, because that's where spring training's held for everybody.
But they're in I don't know if it was Arizona or Florida, but one of them is starting to lift restrictions. So it's kind of
Florida reopened all their beaches.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying is that if they start, it might not be the right thing to do, but I can just think of a greedy owner being like, they lifted it, put them out in the stands. You know what I'm saying? It's just that's where it gets kind of in a gray area, in my opinion.
It's tough because some places are open and some places are not. I mean,
yeah.
Look, I think golf courses here finally won their battle. So I guess starting next week, golf courses are going to reopen.
It's only private golf courses.
Oh, okay.
It's only – I don't know why they're doing that, but it's like that's just like a smack in the face of the rest of the golfers. Like, what the hell?
Well,
yeah, and then people want drive-in movie theaters open. Well, it's like we can't have a drive-in movie theater open if you're not going to let golf courses open. It just doesn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's.
And if you open up drive-in movie theaters, you probably can't have people get out of their cars to go to concession.
Yeah,
it's probably something to do with bathrooms.
I'm guessing they'll put porta potties every 6 feet or whatever.
Are you gonna want to touch a porta potty? That hasn't been
exactly. It doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't.
I wouldn't want to touch a porta potty any day.
Yeah, no, right?
Ever.
Do you think that once they play the games, if they end up doing it that way, like they're gonna have to sanitize? And you know what I'm saying? Like it's like, I mean, you look at the floor of a baseball dugout, it looks horrible.
Yeah,
but you know what I'm saying?
With all the guys spitting seeds and stuff. No,
yeah.
I know that they're trying to. They have this new test out where you can be tested and know whether or not you're infected in like 15 minutes. So I believe they're going to test all the players before each game. So that's kind of their way of gauging, well, all right, this was a good idea, this is a bad idea.
So then they can't call it the World Series this year, right?
I hope not. I really hope they change it. I don't think there's no way. This goes back to that conversation we had a couple episodes ago where can you really call it the same thing? Yeah, it'll be the championship for this season, but is it a World Series? Can you call it a World Series?
Well, now you can't.
You can't. It carries a completely different. Yeah, it carries a completely different weight.
Yeah.
So I would bet what they call it, like the President's Trophy or the President's Cup, or I don't know, something different that has some meaning,
like the Commissioner's Trophy or something. They'll call it.
But like make a different trophy, and then like when you're looking through the record books and you come to 2020, you see 2020 so and so won the Commissioner's Trophy. Well, it's already.
What is the World Series trophy called? Do you know?
Commissioner's Trophy, so it can't be called.
Oh, it already is. Never mind.
Yeah. I just remembered that, but it should be called something different, or like the MLB Championship or something. I don't know, but
the name doesn't matter. But either way, it shouldn't be the World Series this year.
No, it shouldn't. And I'm sure the playoff structure will be a little bit different. I just don't know. They haven't really leaked that much information out about it, but it's nice to know that maybe we're moving in the right direction where stuff like this can start to happen. And
I don't know what's going on in Florida, but I know in New York, I guess we're past. Like they were projecting us to peak, I think, next week. Or maybe even May, but I think we're already on the down slope. So
yeah,
I haven't been paying too much attention to it. I know I've been staying home and work from home.
Unfortunately, we both live in the worst states: New York and Florida and California, 3 worst states. And I think they said New York's gonna be the toughest to reopen, simply because of the city. I mean, the governor already said he won't reopen stuff in upstate New York where we live because he doesn't want people from the city to go there, travel up there.
Mm-hmm. And I know that they've been saying if you've been traveling from Florida to New York or vice versa, that they recommend you go into self-isolation for 2 weeks before you.
Yeah, and your dad's been back and forth like 10 times. So.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's but honestly, from the sports side of it, it's just like we just want it back.
Yeah,
that's all. You know what I mean?
I mean. So what have you been doing to pass the time, Tino? Because obviously you can't watch sports. Brad and I kind of talked about this last time we recorded. Not much has really changed on my end. So I'm kind of curious. What have you been doing to keep busy?
Well, obviously he's been working out. I mean, look at the guy.
Cut.
Yeah. Yeah, on this chair. I've been working out on my chair. I really a lot of NHL 04 from PS2. Danny Heatley's on the cover.
Eddie Heatley. Wow.
As an Atlanta Thrasher.
Yeah.
And there's some throwback for you right there.
I don't know, YouTube. I've been watching a lot of YouTube stuff. I did watch Tiger King finally. I was one of the last ones in my family to watch it.
We still haven't watched it. Is it any good?
I'm not watching it. I refuse to watch it.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's just funny. It's just like it's so weird that people. It just shows that in other states like Oklahoma and even Texas or something, they're just totally different people than we are. It's sad to say, but it's like
really different world.
Yeah, but
Texas is actually the first state to fully reopen. Everything's open in Texas now.
But just the schools are closed because my cousin Leanne is a teacher down there, and they're not working. They're not working. But
schools.
you know what I've been watching a lot of is Sons of Anarchy because I've never seen it, so I decided to start watching it. It's pretty good.
I've heard that was pretty good.
Yeah. But other than that, dude, I mean, there's nothing to do.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just you feel bad when you go to the grocery store, but it's like fuck that. Like I'm gonna eat. Like you know what I'm saying? It's just, but other than that, I've been applying to jobs and watching TV. That's about all I can do.
It's really all you can do. Playing some video games in there too.
That's all it is, man.
That's pretty much what we've been doing. We've been watching movies. Been trying to watch some movies that I haven't seen before. And then I watched the TV show Scrubs when it was airing and over again.
Oh yeah, that was a great show.
Amanda's never seen it, so I got her into that. I've been trying to get her into a lot of the sitcoms that I've watched prior to meeting her, and so we've watched Parks and Rec, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Modern Family, and now I'm on Scrubs with her. So
we're doing we're in the Ozark and Schitt's Creek right now.
Yeah.
Oh God, you're watching Schitt's Creek, Brad? You poor soul.
Dude, it is hilarious.
I heard it was funny.
I don't know why. I don't find it funny. I watched a good portion of it. I was like, this is stupid.
It is stupid, but I don't know. I think it's hilarious. It is incredibly stupid, but funny.
And Ozark. My mother's been watching Ozark. She's like,
Ozark's awesome.
Yeah, she's like, I can't take it sometimes, and I'm like, oh, then it's a good show.
Don't spoil it for me, Brad, because I've only watched one episode of the new season. But
I'm still on season 2.
Oh, season 2's good. Season 2's good. What part are you on? We
just started watching the whole show probably 2 weeks ago. We
went
through the first season. Now we're on season 2. Yeah.
Yeah. I just started season 3. I usually watch it right when it comes out. I've kind of been putting it off, but it's pretty good. That's a good one. And then
I have really good things about season 3 though. So
yeah. My parents watched it, and my dad was like on the verge of spoiling it because he loves to spoil things. We're like, oh, I saw that, and this happened, and this happened. I'm like, Dad, nobody's seen it yet. Don't ruin it for other people that haven't seen it. Yeah, if you're gonna say something, say spoiler alert first.
He gets excited. He gets really excited.
He's a very excitable guy.
I will say this.
Sorry.
I think this whole thing has helped our YouTube channel immensely. We've been getting a lot of views, and that's the good thing. I mean, thanks to the fans because they've been checking us out.
Amazon is all sold out of podcast microphones right now.
Yeah, everyone's doing one, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So
because all the celebrities, there's been 90 to 100 news podcasts out every week.
Take Scrubs for example. Scrubs is a perfect example of this. Zach Braff and Donald Faison, the two lead actors in that show, they just started a new rewatch podcast.
Yeah.
Of that show. I mean,
I know John Krasinski from The Office and a lot of things. He does like the good news podcast.
Have you watched that? That's been really good.
It's funny.
I think he's put out 3 episodes of it, but it's been really good. It's been a nice
I wish I had
positive
time
outlet
like two assholes to watch these things. I have zero time. I don't watch anything.
You're working, so it's just.
I take a break.
10 to 11:30 is our only time to watch what we want to watch on TV. Yeah. So it's usually an episode of Ozark and then a couple episodes of Schitt's Creek and then
Schitt's Creek, yeah.
The sack.
Yeah. I took Friday off from work, so I had a whole day of just doing nothing. It was nice.
Yeah, I'm sure you really needed a mental day off.
Yeah.
I did, actually, to be honest with you. Sitting in this tiny little room for an entire day, not talking to anybody is You would think it sounds fantastic, but it's not.
I meant to ask you, going back to baseball now. So how do you feel about I guess MLB already said regardless of what happens this year, service time is going to stay the same. So take a guy like DJ LeMay, who was going to be a free agent after the season, he's still going to be a free agent. So Yankees lose out on a whole year of that. What do you think about that?
I mean, it is what it is. It sucks. Being a Yankee fan, I mean, you're going to lose out on. I mean, I know Garrett Cole signed a 9-year deal, but you're going to lose out on pretty much a year of Garrett Cole. And even these players who are pre-free agency and are pre-arbitration or still under team control, like Aaron Judge, he's in arbitration right now, and like Gleyber Torres, you're losing out on a year of these guys where you can just get a whole year out of them and being productive. So it kind of sucks. But
is it the right thing to do?
I get it. I don't know. I think for the guys that are pre-free agency and are in arbitration, I think it should be handled maybe a little bit differently. Like a guy like Gleyber Torres, where the games count, but it's not a full season. Like 162 games should be considered a full season. That's just what a regular season is. So if they do like 80 games, it's a half season. So it should count as service time, but only a half a season's worth of service time, because it's not all things being equal and all things being per normal. That's not a full season of baseball. It is a full season for this year, but this year is unique.
Yeah.
So, yeah, for them, I guess, but then like you can't apply that to players that would be free agents at the end of the year, because you can't say, oh, well, he played a half a season, so then what is he going to be a half a season? Halfway through the season next year, he's a free agent and there's no longer.
Yeah, you can't do that.
You can't do that. So I guess it kind of works different for different scenarios. So, I mean, for players that are under contract, I guess it applies. I don't know.
Okay, I don't know what the answer is either.
That's my thought on it. I mean, it should be considered differently for players that are that aren't under contract, that are under team control, compared to players that are like DJ LeMay, who signed a 2-year deal, where this year counts.
Right, because it's not really fair to the franchise. They signed a 2-year deal. You should get 2 seasons out of him.
Mm-hmm. Or they should not make this year count at all. Make it equal. Make it even for everybody. Make it apply to everybody. This season is unique in the sense that everyone plays for the team that they're on, and just because of the unique situation, and then everything picks up again next year.
Are they getting paid for this season?
I'm sure they will, but I'm sure it will be prorated. So it will affect their contract in some.
Yeah, because they should be getting paid now, baseball, and I don't think they're doing it just yet, because like NBA and NHL are still in their pay period, and that's the biggest thing. I want to see how much assholes owners really are when it comes to paying these guys. I mean, it's like, in a way, and I don't know if you guys would disagree with it, but say like the guy you were talking about in the Yankees, like cut pay and do all this stuff, like, will that make him want to leave? Because they're not, like, you know what I'm saying? Players have the weirdest.
Because I'm guessing it's going to be go ahead, Brad.
I'm guessing it's going to be a sport-wide thing. I don't think it's going to be up to each individual team how they pay players. So I don't think they're going to – I don't think LeMay is going to hate the Yankees for not paying him his full contract, because it's going to be the same for every team.
Because if he leaves and goes to the Dodgers or the Diamondbacks, that's their players who would have dealt with it there too. So I agree with Brad. I think it's going to be a league-wide thing, and it's not going to be like, oh, well, Steinbrenners didn't pay me my full guaranteed amount, so
it's probably have to get negotiated through the union, is what I'd assume.
Yeah. So whatever happens, the players are going to have to agree to it beforehand.
Yeah, and they should. I'm just saying, like, it's
I see where you're coming from. And
because I wonder, I'm not sure, but with like the NHL and the NBA, I thought I read something where like they're not getting their full pay, but I think a lot of them are donating it to whatever cause. But I don't think they're getting everything.
No, and I think the players that are under contract, they're not getting paid yet. I think the minor leaguers are the ones that are getting paid now, because they're the ones that are suffering. Like, obviously Garrett Cole isn't going to have any issues getting by during this time because he's a multi-million-dollar guy. But
Yeah.
a player like Esteban Florial, who's a AAA minor leaguer for the Yankees, obviously he's making league minimum or whatever his contract is, and he's suffering because he obviously doesn't really have a job.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the multi-million-dollar contract like some of these big name guys do. So
Yeah, I'm guessing they're gonna just cancel the minor leagues this year, right?
I would assume so. Maybe they'll make it like the NBA. Well, no, NBA has a minor leagues, but maybe they'll have like or football, like they have inter squad, like the practice squad, and you have these guys because all these facilities. If you've ever been to a spring training facility before, they have the main ballpark, and then they have like 6 or 7.
Yeah, they're fields.
So you probably have like a AAA field, and you'll have like a AA field and a single A field, and probably the lower like the rookie ball and those teams, maybe those get canceled this year. But I would assume they have inter squad scrimmages because what do you do when you have an injury? Well, like say, and you know they're going to happen. Say Aaron Judge gets hurt because it's probably bound to happen, or Sanchez gets hurt every year. What if he gets hurt? You got to have a AAA catcher that you have ready to call up, and they're not going to just be sitting around. They're going to want to get at bats in, and so yeah, maybe they do what they do with the big leagues, with the minor leagues. Like you have the same division set up across the board, and the AAA team for the Yankees is in the same division as the AAA team for the Phillies, and they play on the AAA field, and that way they get their at bats and get to get some numbers and build some clout as they move up the ladder for next year.
That's it's a weird ass time. It's crazy, but then again, someone brought this up to me and I was like, that actually makes a little bit of sense, is treat it like a strike year. Like whatever's left is left, and that's what you play. Like let's say everything goes back normal in July. You start from July and it ends in October. That's where you're at. You know what I mean? And there's going to be an asterisk on the season because like when the NHL had their half year in like 2010 or 11, I think it was, that team that won the Stanley Cup still won the Stanley Cup. I think it was the Chicago Blackhawks, I believe, that won it that year. And it's funny because no one ever mentions the strike. No one ever mentions that it was only a half season, because it's kind of that's what I think they should do.
What was the year they had the lockout? Was it 05 or 06?
It was 04 and 05.
And they didn't have a season at all, right?
They didn't have a season at all. Yeah. No.
And that really hurt hockey a lot. That really hurt the NHL.
Didn't they lose
at that point, they were like an all-time high popularity. They were on ESPN.
Yeah, I was going to say, didn't they lose their affiliation with ESPN? They had to.
Yeah. It just that season off killed the NHL, and it came back, and it was on. It wasn't even right now. It's called the NBC Sports Network. Back then, it was called like Versus was the name of the
Versus.
channel, and like no one's like the outdoor
and
channel.
You had to have cable to have it, right?
They had to start really low again and get back up. So, I mean, all the sports are on the same level right now, so I don't think it'd be a killer if these leagues have to cancel their seasons or playoffs. But
and then
it'll be different coming back.
It will be very different coming back, and it'll probably a lot of these sports will actually probably gain some fans if you think about it, because nobody's had anything to watch the past month and a half.
Yeah.
So you get baseball, hockey, if hockey and NBA resume their seasons, you get them all coming back at the same time. You're going to get people excited to have sports back. So.
I will say, after all this whole thing, how bad this whole virus is, I guess the one thing it's really showing us all is not like it's just showing us how much we take for granted every day. Really, being able to watch sports every day, going out without a mask on, or just going to a bar. I mean, tipping your bartender, everything that we take for granted and don't take seriously. And I think people really missing out on it. I would say, you got to lose something to realize how much you liked it. So,
in a way, I think it's going to help everything. Where it's just people are going to be like, hey, you know what? I am going to tip this guy. Or you know what I mean? When it comes to the economy, I think it's going to help. With sports, it will no matter what. Honestly, if football had a strike, we're still going to love them. Same with MLB or whatever. But I do think when it comes to the NBA and the NHL, if they get past their days, it's over. It's just don't strike.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? It's just over.
I agree, yeah.
It sucks that there is no champion, but that's what happens. That's act of God. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it says it in.
You knew about it.
I didn't realize in every single, even MLB, they have in their league contract, act of God. If you get past a certain, it's over. Like and that's why it makes me laugh that they're thinking of all these plans. And I'm like, it says in your contract you're not supposed to, you know, because like the MLB has a right to keep going. Basketball and hockey have a right to keep going till June. So, you know what I'm saying? Like they might go right into the playoffs.
And look at a smaller scale. Look at a smaller scale too. I mean, I was playing rec softball, and I had my softball season's over. I mean, we'll probably start up when this is all over again, but that season is done. Luckily, we're at the playoffs. I was going to ask you, what is your softball league going to do with all this?
I just sent out an email because, you know, I'm the commissioner. I have to run the league now. So I sent out an email to everyone. Last week I said, right now I'm at the point where I think June 6th, we always start the second week of May. So I'm going to delay it 1 month. I said, we're not going to start in May. It's impossible. So if we don't start by the second week in June, I think I set a date like June 16th. So maybe it's actually a third week. Like we start on that date, we can all play each other one time and then go into our normal playoff, double elimination bracket. I was like, but if it's after June 16th, I'm just canceling the season. And no one disagreed with me. So
would you be willing to have like a weekend tournament or something like that, just so everyone gets their fix?
Like, what do you mean, like the one time?
All the teams that were going to be in the league this year. Why don't you just hold like a 2 weekend tournament or something like that, or double elimination tournament that's longer?
I'm sure once I cancel the league, if I have to actually cancel the league, I'm sure we'll throw some feelers out there. Say maybe July or August to get together. You know, you have to go by because we have to wait till the parks reopen. Then we have to wait for the umpires to start working again. I have to you have to order softballs. You have to get insurance, and these are all non-essential things that aren't going to be open for a while. So I don't even know when I can even start that. So I'm sure down the line when I have to cancel the season, we'll talk about possibilities like that.
This is crazy. You never know, Brader. Some teams might say we're not playing.
Well, that too.
What's going on? You know,
you might get teams that fold or drop out. Yeah, you don't know. Now, it's different down here because all the fields, they're complexes. We don't play at a public. We play at a public park. Well, it's a private park, but it's a complex. There's like 6 or 7 fields there, and they have enough money because it's state funded that they can run because we play 3 or 4 seasons in a year. You just keep playing. It's different for you because this is your only season for the year.
This is it.
You miss out. You may get a fall season for some other league, but the Justice League, which is still called the Justice League, you only play in the summer, so you're gonna have to wait till next year. So it's a little bit different.
And that is possible. I know most players, well, not most, but the younger players play in like other leagues, so they play in fall leagues usually. If I really wanted to, I could set up some kind of like Saturday fall league. Personally, I don't want to do that because I just remember playing fall leagues and looking outside, see how cold it was, and be like, I really don't want to go to my game today. So I'd rather not play.
See, I would love that. I would love it. I love cold playing sports.
I like the cold weather too.
But dude, it's unprecedented, the shit that's happening. And like, you honestly, if I told you like last year that we're going to have, no one would believe it.
No
one would believe it because it's just, I honestly, when it started, I didn't think it would happen. Like, especially with sports, like when March Madness got canceled, like that's when I think I was like, oh shit, like this is real because of how much money it is for people. And if they're willing to lose it, it's like, well, not willing, but they have to. It's like, man, this is real. This is a real thing.
Yep.
You know?
And it's crazy. It's just crazy.
Yeah. Sucks.
So hopefully this all ends soon. Hopefully we can get back to somewhat of a normal life or transitioning into back having our normal lives. Because obviously when things reopen, it's going to be different wherever you are, whatever you're doing. Like, I'm supposed to find out this week when we do reopen my office because I'm working from home, what our protocol is going to be. Obviously, you're not going to have everybody come back to the office all at once. So maybe some people have to stay home, maybe some people don't. But it's going to be like that for a little while. And you probably can't do certain things that you would be able to jump right back into. And So it's going to be a big game changer. And it's been nice to see a lot of the positive things that have come out of this. Like I will say, I've been working from home. I usually don't get home from work until 6:30 on a normal day. I don't spend as much time as I would like to with my wife or around the house. And it's been nice being able to do stuff like that. I'm sure Brad, well, you still work every day anyways, but
I'm the opposite. I'm working longer every day now.
So it's taken a toll on you. And I'm sure it's been an adjustment for your home life too. And it's just, when that comes back to reality, you might look back on this. And these are going to be things you're going to tell Jack about when he's 15, 20 years old. And you're going to be like, hey, remember when you were 2 years old and I had to work late, and because there's this big pandemic going around, and we'll tell our kids when we have kids, 2020, I had to work from home for 2 months because couldn't go outside. You couldn't go around.
It's almost like people that were in Vietnam or WW2. It was like, what was it like being there during that time?
Your kid, when he's in high school, is going to be reading about this in a textbook or on a tablet somewhere, saying, "Oh, I was a child. I don't remember that. Dad, what was that like?"
Yeah.
Hey, listen, when our kids are in high school, they're going to have like holograms in our living room as their teachers, okay?
Yeah. They're going to have some chip implanted into their brain where a screen comes up on a contact lens or something like that.
But a chip in the brain, and then the school's just going to upload the information into their brain.
You don't even have to learn anything anymore. And then we're all going to be gigantic, fat tubs of lard, like in the end of WALL-E.
Right.
On hover scooters.
And they don't know what Earth. They have to Google what Earth is, or not even Google, just look up what Earth is.
Yep. Google outside.
Dude, but you know what? It's fun because as of right now, everyone's kind of good. Like our family members, you know what I'm saying? Like I feel for the ones that have lost somebody. Mm-hmm. And that's why I don't think I take it as seriously as some people should, because no one's been affected, mm-hmm. In my life.
We've had that conversation a couple times here. We're very fortunate that we don't know anybody that has been sick. We've been very fortunate that we don't know anybody that has lost their job permanently because of all this. My wife, like I said, works for Disney, so she's on furlough starting today. We don't know how long that'll last, but at least because she's part of a union, she's guaranteed to have her job back when this all ends. There are some people that aren't that fortunate. I'm still fortunate that I have my job, that we still have an income. A lot of people don't have that luxury. It's crazy.
I'm surprised that Disney actually compensates, because from all the horror stories you hear about that place with their employees.
Well, up until today, she was getting paid her weekly paycheck for however many hours a week they.
Yeah, it was cool they did that.
But that's what I'm saying. Today, she will not be getting paid anymore. But they are, because she's in a union, they're going to cover. I don't know if it's the entire or portion of it or whatever, but they will be paying for her health insurance. So that's nice. That's nice. And she's on hers.
I'd rather take that.
But we're very fortunate. And we're very fortunate that we've been saving money, and we can get by for a couple months without having to worry about where our next paycheck's coming from, worry about if we're going to be able to afford a trip to the grocery store. And there are a lot of people out there that don't have that luxury. And so,
well, Danielle's not getting paid right now. That's the nail salon. She can't work. She doesn't work. She doesn't get paid. Mm-hmm. So, luckily, we're, like you said, we're in a situation we can handle that. But some people in her position that were bartenders, nail salon, whatever, they're not getting paid. But I mean, people making a lot of money on unemployment. Let's not confuse that. There are people getting on unemployment getting paid more than me, and I'm busting my butt 60 hours a week now. Mm-hmm. They're sitting home making $300 on unemployment, but they're getting that extra $600 tapped onto that. They're making good money right now. So
so she can apply for unemployment, I think, starting today or tomorrow. But I have no idea what that. I guess the system here has been not easy to go through.
Oh, New York's been brutal.
So
Danielle still hasn't gotten anything.
We're going to find out what's going on with that hopefully this week. But
because I was against the unemployment thing, because it's like someone else needs it, because Jen has a decent job and I do have savings, but it's like, if everyone else is doing it, I'm going to do it. And I just did it last week, and I haven't even heard if I was accepted or nothing.
Yeah, Danielle's still waiting a letter, whether she's approved or not approved or whatever.
It's crazy.
But I heard that Disney is going to actually, this is another nice thing that Disney is doing, is for all their cast members like Amanda and entertainment or hourly that are union full-time, Disney is going to handle the application process for them to an extent.
Wow.
So
wow.
they'll handle the paperwork. They'll probably just reach out to her and ask her for some information like bank account, social security number, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which they should already have, but they're probably to confirm it or whatever. But
yeah.
But again, that's a luxury that a lot of people, like in your case, Tino, you didn't have that luxury. You had to figure out all that stuff yourself.
Yep.
There are people that don't have an education and don't have the resources that some of us have that can't even do that. So
like I said, I'm more qualified than some people, but there's so many people applying for jobs now. It's like they're going to take the best. You know what I'm saying? It's just like I even applied for like a labor job, didn't get it, and I was like, wow, okay, and I'm like,
this is like the recession back in 2009, 2010. It wasn't quite as bad as this. But I do remember, like, I just graduated college. I couldn't find a job anywhere. I applied to, like, sporting goods stores and some other places, and I couldn't find a job. And I did an unpaid internship for the summer. And then I had to go back to school. And luckily, I had to go back to school. But some people don't even have that luxury. So
yeah,
it's just crazy. I know we went on a tangent away from sports and stuff like that, but this is all related in some.
It affects the sports
capacity.
people just as much as us.
Mm-hmm. And it goes to show you that all this is a worldwide thing, and that it affects everybody in some way or another.
All right, let's wrap it up and get back to sports with the NFL draft then.
Okay. So for those of you that are watching Bigger and Brighter Sports, is going to hold a mock draft that we're going to record for just the first round.
Yeah, just the first round.
After this, by the time this is posted on YouTube, you can probably go check it out on Bigger and Brighter Sports YouTube channel.
Clothing optional.
Clothing optional. I, for one, am not wearing pants right now. So
I'm fully clothed. Just so everyone knows.
I'm kidding. I'm actually wearing pants. That was a joke.
Are you sure? You sure?
Oh, you want to?
There was a stat. That's what it was.
Tino, you want to take a chance? Huh?
I don't know.
Huh?
I'm about to say, once we get that studio built, Naked Thursdays is going to be a thing.
And I will not be joining you on Thursdays.
I will say there was a stat that came out. I forgot what it was, but they got to really take a percentage of your coworkers that are probably not wearing pants when they're having meetings right now online.
Jen does that.
Okay.
Wow, throwing your wife under the bus. Hopefully she doesn't watch this.
She heard me.
Anyways, thank you for all of you that have tuned in or have taken time out of your quarantine days to watch us, to listen to us, to follow us. Same with the Bigger and Brighter Sports. We really appreciate it. Please like, follow, subscribe, check us out on all the social medias, whatever. We're all here. We're all going through this together. Let's stay safe. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining today. My name is Greg Andriano, at GregAndriano05 on Twitter. You guys want to share your stuff, and then we'll close out.
Big Tuna at Big Tuna BVS, and at Bigger and Brighter Sports. One word on Instagram.
Yeah, and I'm Brad at Yankee Chatter 1 on the Twitter.
So
if I said my real name, they would never find me because there's nobody that spells it right. So
yeah,
I always have to check myself after I type your name in. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. Hopefully we can record another one soon, and check out the mock draft on Bigger and Brighter Sports. Should be fun. Thank you, everyone. Stay safe, and we'll see you guys soon.